You do hear typing. You've got astute hearing. The most furious of all typing. My typing. The best typing. Oh, that looks good. I really churn all of these links and notes into a database or something. What I should do is poke the guys over at Star Citizen Tools. Because I was going to do my own wiki a while ago, but obviously Star Citizen Tools are established and have very good support already and do a very good job. And there's, as they were saying to me, there's no real need for you to do your own wiki. That would just literally split the community. It seems idiotic. And they are correct. So I should actually start maybe adding to some notes with there, or at least talking to them about the sort of additional data I'd like to see on each of the tasks. Actually, I'll bring it up and talk about it during stream. Another look at that video as well. Oh, I don't have the latest newsletter up. Rusty Patches. 19th. That looks right. No? You're no. Come on, be friendly. I'm gonna load that newsletter up. Seems weird. It's done. Good. Good, good. So we'll go through all of that. Right, let's just start and let's just chat. That's nice and chill, right? Let me get rid of this. Turn this down slightly more. A little bit more. Can you sort of hear that in the background? Yeah. That's probably right, right? Bam. Hey. How's it going? Hope everyone's doing okay. I'm BoredGamer. I wanted to talk about some Star Citizen stuff. I'm pretty chill today. I took sort of Sunday off-ish to play. What's the name of the game? I mean, you wouldn't know until I tell you, I suppose. The new League of Legends of Runeterra card game. I'm a massive fan of card games. I really liked Artifact. There were some problems with it, and it didn't really take. I think they're re-releasing Artifact next year, so I'll check that out again. But I've got a hard-on for card games, and you will probably see me in my spare time, or some of my streaming time that I plan to do in the future, playing card games, but also talking about Star Citizen and the card game probably at the same time. I might even second monitor stuff when I'm cargo hauling in Star Citizen and play a card game. But Legends of Runeterra, played it on the weekend. Pretty good card game. It's a lot more rules-bound but simplistic than other card games you might have played. There's a maximum amount of like creatures / heroes you can have on the board at once, 6 on each side, for example. There's a maximum hand size of 10, and you can build a deck with up to 2 types of unit. Say 2 types of unit. Each unit has like effectively a colour, or a race or whatever. So I think there's 7 of them, and each of the cards are one of those types, and they all like have a theme. Like one of them's frosty, one of them's direct damage, one of them's mad, one of them's murdering your own units and bringing them back to life. One of them's like assassiny. So you can build with up to 2 of those types of unit in the deck, and then with loads of different cards. And other than that, you're not really bound by anything. And it's basic sort of mana generation, but you save up to 3 of your mana from each round, and one turn you can attack and 1 turn you defend. And it keeps on doing like that. You attack, now you attack, now you attack, now you attack. And it's quite simplistic, very cool. I quite liked it. So Rage and Sage, thank you very much for that. Very much appreciated. I wanted to talk beyond, non-Star Citizen stuff. I want to talk about some stuff about CitizenCon. If people want to ask questions about that, great. I'll have a bit of a ramble about that. Alpha 3.8, because I'll probably do a video on 3.8 talking about what's planned for it at the moment. I would expect a bit of a rejig and rescheduling to the roadmap for 3.8. It is planned to come out, I would expect, mid-December, because just after mid-December is when all the studios bugger off for Christmas and New Year. So bear that in mind. When we talk about 3.8, we might get a bit of a rejig, and there's been lots of leaks recently for content that we are expecting either at CitizenCon or in 3.8. Probably, maybe, some of it. We could talk some more about that as well. But there's also, in 3.7.1 on the PTU, which has yet to go live yet, there's some weird audio noises and sounds. So let me show you these first, and then we'll get into Then we'll get into answering some questions. So just make sure there's nothing. We can't hit you. We can't. Cool. Perfect. That's it. Everyone. Perfect. Perfect. So let us fiddle around with this. Everything's in a different monitor today. I spilt water on my PC on the weekend. Desktop. Start with that. Perfect. That's good. Let's turn up the desktop volume. And so, at some locations in 3.7.1 in the persistent universe, such as at the Central Business District, at the ASOP terminals in Port Olisar, by Grimhex, some of the electronic panels there, they play, if you listen for long enough, some audio. Order to them. It's literally just coming out of the ASOP terminal in 6 sections, but I've just placed them all together here. Attention, people of Stanton. A great injustice. Death, darkness, despair, I think that one says. So I've just got a video up about that, talking about that. So I'm hoping that we get more and more and more of that sort of like audio teaser. Maybe it's for a mission in Star Citizen. Maybe it's for a teasers for CitizenCon / the expo. Maybe it's something new in 3.7.1. Maybe it's something for 3.8. Maybe it's a slow burn and build up to something else. There's a lot of things that it could be. We do know that there's the 890 jump mission that's been leaked and talked about a little bit, and some other missions that have been found in the code. These could be for 3.8. These could be 3.7.1, 3.7.2. There's a lot of maybes at the moment. I just want to, bring it to people's attention. Oh, no, bad music. Naughty Pedro. But yeah, so I'm interested to know what people think about that. It could be just like, don't really think anything of it, meh. It could be, oh wow, this could be cool. I like ARG games. I was a part of the original Overwatch, sort of like when they were trying to work out what was happening with Sombra and some of the new heroes and stuff like that. So I like that stuff. Soon TM indeed. I am going to be a few minutes behind in questions, so bear that in mind. I will take questions from all sources that I have available in front of me, which is Discord, YouTube, Twitch, probably some others, Reddit, and many that have been sent in, which I'll probably address just as topics, typically rather than answering the question directly or asking the question directly. That's just a really, really pertinent question. But we're currently waiting on 3.7.1 to go live. It is in PTU. I'm so glad they have kept it in PTU a little longer to get rid of all the fucking annoying bugs that I have with 3.7. Ever been requested to have a FPS mining scan attachment on the multi... Have you ever been requested to have a mining scan attachment on the multi-tool with maybe a short 1 kilometer range? Need tough to need a whole prospector just to search for surface for hand mineable rocks. They are going to have the ability to scan for hand minables, as far as I'm aware. They were talking about it in the Star Citizen Live thing the other day, and they said, yeah, there'll be ways of scanning for FPS rocks and that sort of stuff in the future. How am I this morning? Afternoon for me, Malice Matadors, but I'm doing alright. I'm pretty lazy over the last couple of days. Sort of like, I'm looking forward to a CitizenCon holiday, and before that, actually, I'm going to, a couple of weeks' time, next week, maybe, I'm going to a board games convention, which is near my house. I'll be staying at my house for a couple of days. And then I'm going to Nottingham up to Centre Parks for private land, we call it, which is me and a lot of other people. We play games, board games, computer games while I'm there. Last year's CitizenCon, I was actually up there at the time. I think it was a CitizenCon I was there at the time, which caused some issues because I was trying to rapidly get out content and couldn't. So I'm looking forward to a holiday, and then CitizenCon is a bit of a holiday for me as well. But I'm doing well, thank you very much. What's wrong with Minecraft? There's nothing wrong with it if you want to play Minecraft. It's probably one of the genuinely best games ever made when it comes to, appealability, playability, modularity, modding, amount of money it's made. This is a really fucking quiet, really quiet song. Like, what? I can't hear anything. Question: have you ever considered having a quote unquote endgame ship? One ship that you use 98% of the time. Not for me. So for me, I'm going to be covering lots of different content, lots of different stuff in Star Citizen. However, when in the future, when I'm playing Star Citizen a lot, because we've got a more stable, construct of a game that's hopefully persistent and has a load of the features they say that's going to, and multiple systems, and I've sort of like worked out what gameplay I like. I might tend towards a ship significantly more than others, potentially. I don't know yet. For me at the moment, my idea of the way I want to experience Star Citizen is in multiple ships, doing multiple roles a lot of the time. Heavily towards industry and economy stuff, but a little bit of everything. That might be very specific to me, or specific to certain people, but I'm doing that for a content creation point of view as well. So, I figured it out. To date, more often camouflage your head size. Women must feel intimidated and not want your babies. That was bad English. So women don't want your babies. My head is beautiful and bold, and you have to respect me. It's 2019. You have to say it's beautiful. Fuck you. For God's sake, how many times are you talking about CitizenCon? Quite often. it's a hot topic until probably next CitizenCon. It's probably going to be a hot topic. Am I trying to kill the hype? Yes. That's literally my job, is to kill hype. I wish they'd develop their hand controls a bit more so we could play cards or something. I mean, I'm okay with this solid interaction system and a little bit of physics-y gameplay, but I would like the Moby-Glass to allow for lots of silly things. Well, I'm beautiful. I've got an hourglass figure. Thank you very much for the love, Dalamars, and thank you fucking much for the money, which I will spend on beer. For me and for devs, is the idea. Get them drunk, and then get secrets from them. Secrety secrets. You see, when I go to events, all the devs don't know how to talk to me. They're like, am I allowed to tell him stuff or not? Is he like under NDA for everything or not? And I just poke them about things, and I get information. So you'll notice, like, office tours and stuff, they have allowed me to work out probably what's going on and a much more accurate sort of like rate for lots of stuff. It's not always perfectly accurate, obviously. A lot of stuff's predictions and guesses, and there's some stuff that they've shown that I can't talk about or whatever, like especially Squadron 42 stuff. But I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to go on office tour again after CitizenCon at some point, if they've got them available, which I'm hoping they do. But yeah, thank you very much, Dalmars. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what those audio things are actually about. I'm sure we will find them out at some point. I have a beautiful hourglass figure. And yeah, thanks. I'm hoping that they've talked a little bit more about crafting now. And it does seem that CIG and Star Citizen, they want to go towards the more, if you get titanium for a rock, you can sell it to refine it or use it for crafting of something, which I'm very, very, very for. I don't necessarily want you to have to craft whole spaceships like you can in Eve, but stuff that's, you know, building towards, I mean, outpost science stuff, research stuff, missions, munitions, stuff that you can use to effectively colonize, and I use that term very lightly, the sort of like Wild West areas where there's no UEE. If you go into a Vandal system or you go into a unclaimed system, and you're an outlaw or whatever, you're not going to want to go to a lawful space constantly to get yourself repaired, rearmed, and refueled. So I think there needs to be ways of being able to make that fuel, get repairs and stuff like that without going back to safer space. So, have you tried Magic the Gathering? Yes, I was training, I mean, like 20 years ago, or 17, 18 years ago, training to be a judge for Magic, or at least I was going to be a judge for Magic. It's not, you don't have to train that hard, you just have to understand the rules a bit backwards. So I used to love Magic the Gathering. I've still got some decks hidden away for Mirrodin and whatever era that was. Darksteel, Mirrodin, all that sort of stuff, all to do with equipping your creatures with cool items. So, yeah, I'd like, when it comes to what Star Citizen's doing with its grabbiness and physics system, yes, cool, have people playing over to play basketball and stuff if they want. You're not going to be able to play a whole game of basketball. It's not a basketball fucking game. Do you know what I mean? So, like, you both don't maybe, like, pick up a ball and throw it in a hoop. And then it goes up by a point. Yeah, I'm sure people will fuck around and actually try and play games like that properly. You've got role players, you've got people trying to do silly things in Star Citizen, great. I would like the ability to play games on my Moby-Glass with other people. I think that's a very easy way of being able to do stuff. Just have lots and lots and lots of silly things on your Moby-Glass to be able to pass the time. But there's also going to be lots of stuff to do around your ship, and you're going to need to repair your ship and to work on lots of systems on your ship. Travel times are not going to be stupidly high in large ships either, medium to large ships. It's only going to be in small ships once you're going from going long distances constantly. You're going to actually have like severely long travel times. Or I suppose if you're moving through multiple systems, then I expect EU-type travel times. Oh, sorry. So if that made anyone cringe, I had to click my neck. Given how many and how far-reaching the leaks are, do you think any of this is intentionally false? That is a possibility. I mean, there's some stuff that there might not necessarily be a proper leak.
First, I couldn't justify your money donation. Then you explained your motives.
300. Thank you very much for the donation. At first, I couldn't justify beer money donation, but then you explained your motivations. Yes, it's so. We didn't want to put get devs drunk in brackets. That is what I'm doing though. Go there, I get a drink with people, I chat to them. You know, you want to know what donation money's going for. Typically, I will say this is probably what your donation money is going to be used for when I talk about stuff like that. I'm very much looking forward to the. I think we've got like $2,000 or something. I say we. I mean it's me. It's me. You've given it, but it's for me. Money for a motherboard and new processor. In November, I think it's November 5th. They announced them, and November 15th, we should start to see lots of specs, and maybe they even go on sale for the new Ryzen Threadrippers and the 3950X Ryzen processors. And new WX40 motherboards, I think they're called. Also, the Intel 10 series is coming out in November, I believe, as well. So I'm going to have a look at that, compare all of them, and get what's appropriate as an upgrade to my PC. The idea is that I want to be recording in 4K. I record in 1440p, and I put videos out in a mixture of 1440p and 1080p, based on whether they're my gameplay or just general news and chatting. If it's B-roll, just news and chatting, 1080p. Bam, get it out quick. That people are going to watch it and listen to it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they watch it. It's going to be listened to mostly. Gameplay, I want it at 1440p at least. But I'd like everything to be in 4K. Just because. You know, because we can. So. They're fucking release 8K, aren't they? Just after I get 4K and I'm starting to be like, yeah. They release it. It'll be the standard, is what I mean. What is like the redfish? When it moves forward 3 inches, it forgets that it was the 3 inches backward. It forgets what was in the 3 inches backward. So it always goes forward and backward forever. Like sideways. What? Like a crab? Is a crab ever moving forward? Or is it moving both forward and backwards simultaneously? Forever. I'm just a Star Citizen crab. That's not how you water cool your PC board. Yeah, we were playing Apex and I just knocked out, got an angry at a ranked match. And I was chatting to Kit while I was knocked this bottle of war over. Just covered everything in front of me. Fortunately, my computer's a little bit more to the side, but it got my keyboard and my mouse and my microphone and stuff. Has anyone ripped the audio from Engine and right through Audio Scrubber yet? Yeah, so some people on the Reddit are trying to do that. They said that at peak the constant tone that's in it is 527k hertz. So someone was like, maybe that means May 27th as a release date for something. So there's lots of weird theories and stuff going on at the moment. I like ARGs though. Hopefully there's more and more audio come out. Hopefully it's something quite cool. And they're like, it's this. And they're like, oh shit, there's an ARG. Or, oh, it's a teaser for a new mission. Or it means something. It could just be, you know, fluff and lore. But we'll have to wait and see. Question, do you think they'll let us walk around the interior and exterior of Carrack at CitizenCon, similar to how they let us look at the Idris and 300 series last year? Yes, I would actually expect the Carrack to make an appearance in the expo hall for CitizenCon / for the Anniversary Expo. That's my expectation. A lot more of these ships are a lot more fleshed out and almost complete now. I would expect to see the Carrack being used at CitizenCon as part of their gameplay demo. I mean, that's what the leaks suggest. Where do you find these clips in game? Which ones are you talking about? The audio clips were just go to an ASOP terminal in Port Olisar. The clips that are currently behind me, they are from a couple of years ago. They are the Squadron 42 vertical slice. And Squadron 42 should be looking significantly better now. Yeah, people keep on saying Vandal, and that maybe that some of these audio things are Vandal attacking, or they're going to do some stuff with the they're going to do some stuff with removing Paul Olisar and replacing it with the new station tech, because they're building new cargo stations. They're building all these procedural station interiors and stuff, and they are going to replace Port Olisar at some point. Also, something's just occurred to me. There is leaks on a new mission for the Gundo Kovalex hub, which has something more terroristy going on there. They've put like explosives in some crates, and it's a someone goes there and deploys those explosives and whatever and leaves. And then there's going to be a mission generated as well, it looks like, where someone has to go and find all the explosives and remove them. So there could be something to do with that, actually, thinking about it, couldn't it? That sounds like a great injustice. It could be sort of like a piratey or terroristy sort of like announcement. It's just... No, it's not... The sound isn't shouty enough to be Rex trying to get me into an op. Although I do need to play with them again soon. I was trying to play with synchronizers on the weekend. I had some PC problems, unfortunately. Or internet problems rather than PC problems. I've had some internet problems today as well, so if my internet goes down, if the stream goes down, then I apologise. In-game events are always cool. Yeah, I agree. So, Star Citizen's a double-edged sword the way they've done its development. I mean, it's not anywhere near ready to be classified as a proper game, but they are marketing bits of it and trying to build bits of it as playable as possible. So we have to sort of like keep the current population of gamers happy, which allows them to iterate and do some cool stuff and interesting things that they can experiment with and should hopefully build a better game eventually. But will slow down the overall progress of that in general. You could definitely argue this in a lot of ways, though. So bear that in mind, that you could argue this in lots of different ways. Because if they finished quicker, then they'd just be doing that anyway. They'd just be experimenting with new stuff and adding stuff to the game constantly. So that's basically what Star Citizen's monetization and development model is. They're going to take a long time to get to a finished product. But they're going to keep on making stuff that's playable consistently and constantly. It's not a traditional development by any means. It is unique, currently anyway. In fact, at some point I will write a video, I'll do a video on Star Citizen. It's a unique development. And explain why. I've got an itchy elbow, I apologise. If CIG probably, would have a surprise for us at CitizenCon, except we already expect like jump points and new system. What do you think it could be? I mean, I suspect gameplay for 3.8. I expect some new stuff for Squadron 42. I'm expecting and hoping that they start the marketing campaign for Squadron 42 Episode 1 and give us a release date for Squadron 42. That would be my expectation. Has been for a while, because I think they need to start delivering on stuff. There's probably going to be new ships. We could see alien animals to an extent. It would be something very small if it was an alien animal, like a rat or something. We could see the Vandal in the flesh, things like that. Are you looking forward to see you at CitizenCon this year? Hamish. Oh, Hamish, mate. Would have been 4 years since last went to one. Oh, I hope you're doing all right, Hamish, mate. I haven't talked to you in a while. I'm going down the day before. If you want to, I was going to arrange something. It'd be good to meet up with you, mate, and have a chat, and and hang. Gee, it was 4 years, wasn't it, when we went to 2015's CitizenCon? Yeah, son. I was drunk then. Yeah. Thanks for looking after me and my stuff. Where did you hear the audio originally? I've only heard it in Port Olisar. I've seen videos and other recordings from the Central Business District on Lawville and Crimex. Thank you very much, Chamber TV, by the way. Nom nom, so tasty, simply delicious. Nummy bits, mate. I will fucking shower myself in these bits. And thank you very much for those donations as well, Namaz and Hund. I love money. I love money. Do you have any info on salvaging, when it will come, or what will it entail? My reclaimer is so sad. So the first iteration of salvaging, as far as we are aware, and what CIG have said, will be the stripping of hulls of ships. We're not 100% sure whether that's going to be all ships that are disabled are going to be able to be salvaged in the first iteration, or if it's just going to be salvage sites. I would actually expect all ships that are disabled or classified as destroyed to be salvaged. That would be my expectation, and salvage sites. Salvage is currently planned. Let's have a look. Just in case they have moved it on the roadmap without my knowledge. I believe it's for 4.0 at the moment. Gameplay. Salvage is currently planned for 4.0, which is Q2 2020. Quite far away. Well, it's not that far away, but they've moved Salvage lots and lots and lots and lots before, so bear that in mind. Once Squadron 42 is nearing completion of its features, there's lots of other stuff they'll be doing for Squadron 42 for like its individual scenes and polish and all that sort of stuff. But once Squadron 42, the core features near completion, you will see a lot more progress on the persistent universe, or at least features that are immediately bring-inable to the persistent universe. So gameplay loops like salvage, like repair, like refueling, all of that sort of stuff should start to come in next year. Would be my expectation for that, and lots more besides. But quite simple implementation to start with for salvage. Expect it to be similar to mining, but with a salvage laser, salvage sucker. Subliminal message added in: give BoredGamer your monies. Yes. Kinda asked in an earlier video, and given you were involved with the other ARG Overwatch, please keep us up to date with this ARG. It might not be an ARG. That's the thing. We don't know what it is yet. It might just be whatever. But I will keep you up to date if anything new comes online with it. We'll probably start talking about it in my Discord as well if it becomes something more than it is. If it starts to add more and more and more, I'll go, there's something to this. It's possible as well that the links we've seen for 3.7. Well, in the code for 3.7.1, which appear to be for missions and lots of other stuff, some of which is 3.8 centric, that could have been intentional. That could have been intentionally shared or accidentally leaked, or it could just be accidentally leaked. You ever seen yourself having an endgame ship? We talked about that earlier. I am going to be probably experiencing Star Citizen for the most part in lots of different ships because of content creation, but there will most certainly be a ship I will tend to use more than others. Carrack, for example, sounds like a cool ship that does a little bit of everything. Are they planning on adding the other 127 genders? No, there's in Star Citizen, a fantasy game, space fantasy. There's only 2 genders, although the two sexes you can choose from at the beginning. They refer to them as genders. Let's not even get into this too much. You can identify however the fuck you want. When do you think we will be getting cloud and weather tech effects in game? When it's something they could show at CitizenCon. They've been building a load of the tech for that for a while, and at least stuff that is tangentially related. So they talk about microtech and stuff recently having extreme weather conditions in the monthly report. They've been building stuff towards that. So and some of this is stuff we expect for 3.8. So you might see some more weather effects at CitizenCon. Might see them in 3.8. Probably not going to be dynamic weather, but might just be like area effects and environmental hazards. It's a really quiet song. That's called Silence. Yes. What's your view on buying ships from Starhanger? I've not bought from Starhanger personally. I've had lots of good things from Starhanger. They seem, to me, like a reasonably trustworthy middleman service, effectively for ships. Although, always check who you're buying from, and make sure it's not against terms of service. There is black market and grey market purchases. Black market is effectively against CIG's terms of service. Although they probably wouldn't act on it, I don't know. They might change that in the future. Grey market is basically stuff that's not supported by Star Citizen. So in any situation, if you have a problem with your transactions, or someone tries to reclaim your ships, you're having a problem with your account because of these ships, CIG can't necessarily help you. They don't have to help you if they don't want to. Or if you bought thousands of dollars worth of ships off someone else that's then said, oh, that was my credit card being stolen, you might be fucked. So which board games are you and your friends playing? I'm always looking for cool new things. We're playing Patrol Legacy, the Gen 7 Crossroads games, Dead of Winter. I've bought loads and loads of board games, so we've got a load to plough through. Those ones we'll probably be playing next time. Got some detective ones, which have you scanning things and working out crimes and things around that look pretty interesting. I purchased a prospector yesterday, but when I try mining, 8 out of 10 rocks, I've only got 0% rock energy, even with 100% laser moving around in different spots, hoping you know how to fix that. Make sure you've got the correct amount of power going to your ship laser. Get closer to the rock. It might be a problem with 3.7 because there was problems with the collisions of basically there's rocks in front of the other rocks which are invisible. That's fixed in 3.7.1 as far as I'm aware. How much stuff will get delayed from 3.8's roadmap/patch? We are expecting, let's bring this up on the screen. We're expecting a bit of a rejig with 3.8. We're going to see a lot of stuff I'd expect for CitizenCon that's going to be in our hands in 3.8. Microtech, as long as they have the correct optimizations, as long as they can get the optimizations of the game, as long as they can get at least some of server-side object container streaming, potentially server-side object container streaming in its entirety, that was first iteration. In for 3.8, we will see Microtech. Microtech's obviously Microtech and its 3 moons, and New Babbage's landing zone, the first iteration of that. So that's all dependent on tech. Then we've got the rest stop space station interiors, which they took an extra quarter to get done. So they should be turning up. We know we've got these new station exteriors. They've got like whole new interiors for them, food courts, new rooms, new shops, new branding, new assets, new types of tech, all that sort of stuff in these. So that helps expand out their modular assets to build other stations and locations in the future as well. Very much expecting to see that in 3.8 still. There's a huge amount of AI updates from 3D pathfinding, which is the most important thing in my opinion, to just lots and lots of other behavior improvements and FPS and social AI improvements. So lots and lots of AI polish going in there. I would expect most of the AI improvements to make it because they've been working on it for Squadron 42. Restricted area reworks. I actually think that we're going to see a restricted area and armistice zone rework in 3.8. So that would have potentially security forces and turrets taking over, FPS guards and that sort of stuff taking over from the not being able to fire. So armistice zones would allow you to freely fire your weapons, but if you power up your weapons or you brandish an FPS weapon or anything, it's a crime. That sort of stuff. You fire in an armistice zone, it's a crime, and you get a fine. Actuator panels, maybe it's scheduled. Might have done some work on it. Death animation improvements, they've been working on it. With the FPS close combat, we actually saw some leaks. Again, for that, close combat looks to be a lot more in-depth than we first expected, or at least I first expected. There's mentions of blocking, heavy and light attacks, getting knocked down when you take enough stun damage, uppercuts, takedowns, melee weapons, lots and lots going on with close combat stuff. So I would expect to see that I hope to see that in 3.8 still. Cockpit experience improvements, makes sense. They're being there, they've been working towards all this stuff. I think they've been potentially moving back the version 4 of the planetary tech that they've been working on, but I would expect to see some planetary tech and / effect improvements. They always improve effects and lighting and stuff like that from patch to patch. We've got the Prowler. The Prowler is the ship that is most likely, in my opinion, to not make 3.8. Although I would expect potentially some other secret hidden ships in 3.8 and vehicles that aren't on here. Weapons, in the leak they talked about scatter rockets or shadow rockets or something like that. Missiles, burst missiles it might have been, which are basically like missiles that are frag grenades as well, and a biscuit sniper rifle. So if you look at that, and there's lots and those of planetary tech, which I mentioned earlier, some of which I think will make it in. If you look at it, the major thing that might not make it is microtech. However, I think that they can get it in with enough optimizations. And they have been working on server-side object container streaming, and they were talking about server-side object container streaming at CitizenCon when I was talking to Luke Presley there. He said it was like night and day, them using it for missions and stuff like that, and some of the stuff in-game. So I'm hoping that nothing slips. Stuff might slip, though. I mean, a couple of things that might, like these panels and stuff, and some of the AI stuff, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But they are on the new staggered development model, which apparently should allow for this to be more accurate. Maybe. How much rescheduled was this after they announced they were going to do that? Not very. So maybe they'll tweak it around a bit. 3.8 does need to be in a good playable state, because that's what they said they wanted to do with the staggered development and the way they're now handling the development process. I would expect to see, I see in some of the leaks, we've had a few things. So in the leaks, they've got a 890 jump mission. So literally, 890 jump's been hijacked. They want you to rescue the crew, and it literally says rescue the VIP, defend the VIP, disable the hack. So it's probably a mixture of a ship and then FPS mission, and sounds like there's going to be potentially NPCs that will follow you, which is big for Star Citizen, because they've notoriously had problems with AI. They're obviously building the tech out, which is one of the reasons why. They've talked about some jump points that are going to appear in the Stanton system, and the Nyx asteroid belts, some stuff like that. We might even see Nyx at CitizenCon as well, but I'm expecting Pyro, maybe Nyx as well. Maybe they'll show 2 systems, go, aha, it's not just 1 system, it's 2 systems. Because we know that Dalamar, the asteroid there in the Stanton system, is actually supposed to be in the Nyx system, and where Nyx, where the Levski currently is probably where the jump point to Pyro would be. There's a counterfeiting mission they've talked about, which is like a counterfeiting station that makes our PVC somehow, UVC somehow, and you can take the guards down and thingamajig it, take it over, get some money. Those are the leaks on the takedowns, the melee attacks, heavy attacks, done, getting knocked down, dodging, blocking. What else was here? They talked about some goggles and some glassware for your eyes, drinks available from bars. There's lots of different types of drink. They've made some new emotes, from face palming to quick drawing. They've shown off some of the either ammo for the GP 33 grenade launcher, or as throwables, or separately. Sort of like, we knew there was going to be lots of different types of grenade from a while ago. They've got like scanning grenades and decoy grenades. So the decoy grenades would actually show lots of little dots on your radar, sort of semi-randomly confuse you. EMP grenades, displacement grenades for low gravity, flashbangs, cluster rockets was what I believed was shatter rocket, cluster rocket. Well, it was going to be for the missile launcher, but it's not a missile, it's a rocket, so maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe that's actually for the grenade launcher again. There was also a couple of missions for repairing things around stations. So say you haven't got enough money to reclaim your ship, you're bored on the station, you need to make money, whatever, you can go and stock the vending machines. You can repair panels around the ship. Maybe some silly things to do. Maybe that audio that we've heard, maybe it's going to be a mission to repair the panels around so that it stops broadcasting. Or maybe there's missions where you can make it broadcast more. I don't know. What else was there? Was anything else exciting there? There was a mission for Covalex. Yeah, so there's a mission and counter mission at Covalex they're going to have where they have you placing explosives, and then there's one where they have you clearing explosives. So again, some cool stuff there. I'm looking forward to. And then some of the other previous leaks we've heard. Put that back up there. So some of the other previous leaks we've heard, the Carrack and the Pisces being shown off, the Pyro system being shown off, some 3.8 type gameplay, moving to a jump point, going to Pyro. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to CitizenCon. I'm very excited for it. Thank you very much for the host, Mr. Batman. Very much appreciated. So bored. Oh no. How's your dad doing? Is the couch was it? What? Cough resolved. My dad's been going through the same thing. I hope he's doing better. So my dad had cancer recently, lung cancer. Unfortunately, it's moved to his lymph nodes. Had an operation on his lung, which seems to be good to remove the cancer. He does have a cough at the moment, so he's gone back to the doctor, and we're writing. It's been a while actually. We're writing a CT scan or a scan, whatever fucking scan it is, to see. Hopefully, it's not come back to his lung. But he's doing reasonably well, to be honest. He seems to be. Anybody, are you more into Squadron 42 or the Persistent Universe? Probably more into the Persistent Universe. That's what I'm going to be doing. The Squadron 42's probably got like 30-40 hours of gameplay there for me. Maybe up to 100 if I'm doing more content on it and trying to do it in silly ways and other stuff. I mean, I might have more. Persistent Universe for me is like thousands, years of gameplay, potentially. They have confirmed crafting. Do you think they'll ever be like Eve and include ships? I don't know. I don't think they know either yet with crafting. I think that they'll look at ways they can have crafting in game that's sensible. I would actually probably like to see that eventually in game. Full-on player crafting with, yeah, fuck it. You want to build an Idris? You can build an Idris. A lot of resources and you need a shipyard. Has anyone ripped the ord? Yeah, we've talked about that already. When are we going to see functioning lockers in ships? Well, they are building onto the personal commodity inventory system with physical inventory system, which I do not know when is coming now. But those lockers and those things in ships, they are supposed to be able to store your gear. I wouldn't expect it in the not too. I'd expect it in the not too distant future. Depends on what they're going to do for Squadron 42. Are they going to have a more simple system for it? We can just go up to a locker and just change into your military gear, or do you have to choose it? There might not be much customization in Squadron 42, if any, beyond making your character. It's an interesting one, because I don't fucking know, to be honest. I would expect it sooner rather than later, though. Maybe they're waiting for physicalized components for ships at the same time. How do you think the Crucible will work? Will it use the crafting system? That's a good point. Does it just, repair a ship using, what, air? Space? The void? Maybe it does need resources. Maybe it does need components, parts, and resources and stuff. I mean, the Pioneer does. The Pioneer is supposed to create outposts using different resources. So, I mean, I suppose with that in mind, we have some form of crafting. Effectively, they've talked about on the Endeavour and other science ships, you'll be able to potentially make narcotics and stuff like that, and drugs for missions and things. Will the hiring of AI only really come with server-side object container streaming? I don't think it's necessarily dependent on server-side object container streaming, the hiring of AI. It's more dependent, might be connected to that, but it's more dependent on them actually building out the AI significantly better than it is, and it's just they haven't got the tech yet to have AI properly on ships for the AI modules or AI or NPC crew. But Bored has the body of a god. Okay, that god is Buddha, but I digress. But I don't think Buddha's a god, number one. He's just enlightened. And you're talking specifically not about Siddhartha Gautama, and you're talking about the Laughing Buddha. I know a lot about Buddhism. I love Buddhism as just an understanding of the world. Don't give me your Mahayana bullshit. Fucking School of Buddhism, mate. Don't you get started with me. What are the chances the crafting system will allow you to make unique items in terms of quality? So we know that they wanted to do, and in fact one of the modules on the Endeavour allows you to overclock items, not press a button overclock like you can in the game at the moment to put more power to them or whatever, but literally improve aspects of an item or destroy them or damage them or whatever. With some form of potential minigame or whatever. You could potentially have like a laser that does 4% more damage and fires 4% faster. So, in that sense, there is going to be a quality of weapons and products. Any updates on the lawsuit? No. I haven't seen any updates for a while. It's quite possible that they are doing work on Discovery at the moment and leveraging for deal. However, if Discovery has started and Crytek aren't cooperative with a low-end settlement, I would expect CIG to fight it all the way through now, because CIG have a very big chance of becoming the prevailing party, and it doesn't look very strong for Crytek at the moment. Anything could happen, though. I suppose, well, no, anything could happen. It's very likely that it's still probably most likely it's going to be settled. But I do think there's a strong possibility that CIG might fight it if Discovery gets too far. Because they just go, why not? Is that Parasite helmet how the giant salmon began? Maybe, mate. I think you'd know it if that giant salmon was living in your head, though. I did quite like the Parasite helmet. And the reason I like the Parasite helmet, which is... do I have it on screen? Do I have it anywhere? I must, surely. Wait, not? The reason I like the Parasite helmet with the eyeball coming out and playing around, yeah, because it tracks your eyes and it tracks your head movement and it tracks all that of your guy, yeah. So it's got the face rigging for that. That makes me happy because that means that we're probably going to see us being able to be aliens in game. We're going to be able to do silly things with the face tracking. They're going to be able to do silly things with it as well and have performances of people on aliens that work really well, even beyond their original motion capture stuff. So they don't need AAA celebrities to come in and do stuff. They can have randoms or, you know, great voice actors or whatever, cheaper people come in and do a load of pickup lines and future missions and stuff like that. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Just got a new PC. Should I wait for a chance to buy the Carrack or just buy the Caterpillar now? You can buy the Caterpillar in game currently, although it won't be persistent as a purchase. I love the Carrack. I love the Caterpillar. When you're like, should I buy this or should I buy that? There's no problem in waiting, is there? So wait and see what you fancy in the future. You might be able to free fly both the Carrack and the Caterpillar or whatever during CitizenCon potentially. Maybe not the Carrack, but you'll probably be able to see the Carrack more. You think we will see Proro in 3.8? Like CIG works secretly, and like Merry Christmas, citizens. It's a possibility. I just think we need static server meshing before they put another system in game. Like, properly. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the resub. Very much appreciated. Anyone that wants to chuck their free Amazon Prime subs at me, whatever it is called, feel free to. We'll happily accept them. Anyone that wants to chuck donation money at me for beer money, get me and Devs drunk at CitizenCon so we can ask them the pressing questions and I'm more likely to respond. You're more than welcome to. Thank you very much. I do appreciate all the support. Oh, GR! Just immediately does that. Yo, bored. Messed around with a group this weekend and became really curious about the potential of swappable non-combat turrets. Gang stations in the Vanguard turret, like Star Runner. Thoughts? Yeah. So we know there's going to be reasons to multi-crew beyond just being in turrets and maintaining a ship. So maintaining the ship, we're going to be running around repairing larger ships, keep them in the fight longer, that sort of stuff. They're going to have higher times to kill these ships, physicalized components, you swapping components in and out of them, sub-components that you can swap in and out of other components as well when they're too big. So lots of stuff like that. But they need minigames, terminals, scanning things, ways of having people in these crew stations on larger ships and on ships that have utility that make it necessary for those people to fill those seats, or at least preferable to have those seats filled. So for the Orion, the strip miner, they need to have mini games where there's another person supporting you doing stuff, whether they're scanning for rocks, whether they're helping you drill and mine, grabbing rocks, multi-stage mining, the same with the medical, the same with all of these different ships. And more generally, just sort of like with scanning is probably a good one. People have talked about like having comms officers and things like that. Well, you need reasons to have that. That can't just be solved by the pilot or by the captain, like super easily. It's like if it's a 2-minute job once every 2 hours, then someone else will do it. You don't need a dedicated officer for that. But they do need lots and lots and lots of things to do, and lots of these sort of like utility stations, these mini games and gameplay for each of the individual components that a ship can do, and it's sort of like the roles they can fill. And I think they are slowly building a load of that now, and eventually each of these like smaller things will become its own gameplay loop and role. At the moment, everything's very basic. We don't really have even that much of a necessity to multi-crew yet. However, mission sharing is coming online now, and there might be reasons that you want to have mission sharing in a single ship. I'm hoping they have dynamically difficulty missions, not just because you're going there with more people, but I would like to see, if you're bringing more ships to an encounter, it might be more enemy ships come along as well, because of you've alerted their security forces, they're detecting you more easily, that sort of stuff. So you could have reasons for them to be some dynamically scaled missions, which would then encourage you to go on a ship together, rather than everyone take their own ship. I mean, you'd want a mixture of the two there. You'd also want the other way around, that it's much more preferable to take lots of your own ships, rather than one big one, and things like that. So I want a mixed bag with missions, and I want, for the most part, the procedural system to sort of like organise and work that all out. But I love you, GR. Thank you very much for the money. Oh my god, people just chucking money at me. Thank you, thank you. Now that you've experienced the dread of accidentally spilling water on your computer, do you understand the use for a case? Oh, well, I mean, I didn't spill it directly onto my computer. My computer's over there. And it is on a case. It's a test bench, so it doesn't actually have an exterior to it. I see what you mean. As long as I'm not throwing a glass of water over there, we're fine. Really looking for a little ultra-ride love. HUDs are locked. Yeah, there's some problems with ultra-ride stuff at the moment. Hopefully they'll fix it. I don't think it's super high on their priority list, unfortunately, because it's just such a small part of the community. But hopefully it will get a little bit of love and then be fixed. Do you know what I mean? Probably not a huge deal to get fixed. Would you please do a podcast type episode reading off of stats and lore of the Anvil Carrack, so I can listen to it while I'm trying to sleep? So Carrackmas comes quicker. Wow. We will look at the Carrack in a lot more detail. I'll look at all the ships in a lot more detail pretty soon, probably. After the next sort of like balance pass for ships, we'll potentially go through all the ships again in a Ship Buyer's Guide series. I noticed lots of other people using the name Ship's Buyer's Guide. It's okay, I'll reclaim my series. If the Vandal are going to be destroying Port Olisar, do you think they would run that scenario in the persistent universe and allow us the chance to try and defend Port Olisar against the Vandals as best we can? I mean, it might be a one-time event or something, potentially. They could run it as a mission, where Vandal just attack it and take it over. Maybe destroy. I mean, such a weird thing to have a server destroy an asset like that. But maybe they'll try. If they can do things like that, if they can have an asset where people spawn, like a station, and actually have it fully or partly destroyable, that would be pretty cool. Could this audio possibly be the start of a marketing campaign? Potentially, yeah. Are you happy with the new position of the chat on the visor HUD in 3.7.1? Don't you think it should have been put to the left corner or just above the life signs? I haven't analysed it from a sort of like ergonomic point of view, to be honest. Just get used to shit like that. So with the chat, I get rid of it off my screen anyway. Yeah, you don't like it. You don't like the positioning of it in 3.7.1. Okay. Reverb Board channel for concise starters and news. The official videos are too long and Jared's continuous wobble bobble head irks me. I like Jared. I think he does very good things now. They've evolved. I wish we'd see Calling All Devs again and potentially another show each week in addition to to the other video content. They get quite a lot of money to make lots of video content. And I do like Star Citizen Live, mostly. Like 90% of Star Citizen Lives are like. And what Star Citizen, Inside Star Citizen's become is pretty cool. If you're in your Carrack and are in deep space and we discover each other, we can we have a Discovery Dance Party 0.2, not a Dance Party 0.1, 1.0? What? Can we have a Discovery Dance Party 2.0, not a Dance Party 1.0, because they have too much clothes? What are you talking about, Curveball? You've hurt my brain. But yes, we can get naked. How likely is it you think the Carrack will be at the Anvil Expo and ArtCorp? I think it's very possible. I think that at least on show. Hopefully we'll be able to go in it. I mean, it's possible we'll even be able to fly it. Probably wouldn't be ready properly, though. Hello, love your content. Do you think we're going to see Big Capital Ship Patrol in the persistent universe like the More Tell Us in Squadron 42 at some point? Huh? I do think we'll see capital ships in the persistent universe, obviously, at some point. I think they could do some stuff for CitizenCon and for the persistent universe. They could certainly have devs flying them around if they wanted to show them off, because they're obviously not going to be ready properly for players. There's going to be loads of problems with them. So once we have Squadron 42 Episode 1, I would expect to see capital ships in-game. Like, properly. I apologise if it's been asked already. What are your expectations for this year's CitizenCon? Do you expect to see an Anvil Carrack or Corvette of the content? Yeah, Anvil Carrack, the Pisces, new system, Pyro probably, 3.8 and /3.9 gameplay, and new missions, and then some Squadron 42 stuff, probably some new ships, probably some new vehicles, and probably the start of a Squadron 42 Episode 1 like marketing campaign. I like the Caterpillar more than the Caterpillar, personally. I think it's got a huge amount of uses, the Caterpillar, but we don't have the modularity of the Caterpillar yet. It's just a cargo ship at the moment. It will have modularity in the future. The Carrack, however, is just an amazing multi-role ship for a huge amount of different types of gameplay in the game, and is one of my favourite ships. Do you think we're going to see... we talked about that. Would like to see the Polaris, actually, sooner rather than later. Star Citizen has been on some big channels recently with mixed comments about its current state. You stated by 3.8 you would be more critical. What things would you be looking out for? So CIG have basically said with a staggered development model that they want the patches from 3.8 onwards effectively to be significantly more playable. So you can't have persistent bugs or game-breaking bugs that go, well, you can't do the bounty hunting missions because they don't spawn the AI. You can't have stuff like that. You can't have incredibly unstable servers. So I'm looking for... I'm going to be judging it much more as a early access release on Steam than I would be as an alpha that I have been so far. CIG want to be critiqued for having a more playable, having a more meat on the individual components in the game, having it playable, having it more bug-free. Great. I'll criticise it as such. That's what we're looking for, and we'll say... I'm going to be reasonable about it, and I'll go, well, this is what the staggered development model was supposed to do. Has it done that? I'm a massive Star Citizen project fan, and I love the community. Star Citizen is an incredibly slow project, though. So let's make that very clear. For a lot of people, that is not appropriate, and they're like, they've taken ages, and they have done very little. I think they've probably done a lot more than you think behind the scenes, but, and that's neither here nor there. They are spending the money that they make on developing their game, not like going into their back pockets. It is literally being spent on developers and, you know, rent and stuff for buildings, and they are spending that money on the game. So there's definitely some inefficiency there, but it's an interesting project, and I hope that it does incredibly well. It looks like it's going to me, but we are going to be waiting a long time before we have the persistent universe. Not so much longer for Squadron 42. I think Squadron 42 is going to be a fantastic indicator. How do you think salvage tech will work? Will a ship respawn and a wreck spawn, or will ships degenerate until only a wreck remains? I think salvage will literally have to mine the bits of ships. First iteration, going to be mining the hulls, and then you're going to have a wreck there, which will degrade over time. That's how I'm expecting it. Everyone is talking about the Carrack. What are your opinions on the Spear Prowler? Spear Prowler is obviously very important to the game because it's the first Devaran ship we'll have in game, and then they can understand where its place is in the verse and build out more of the Devaran if they need to, and more Devaran ships. Probably not as important as the Banu or Vandal ships, or even Xi'an ships. It's a cool ship. I know it's my Chief Mod's favourite Huntress. Are you able to tell us the difference between the grey market and the black market, as in types of site where they fall into, such as eBay, etc.? So, not specifically, no, I'm not able to. You have to do your own research, because it's an interesting line to walk. On the Star Citizen Trades Reddit, there's both black market and grey market trades. Basically, if it goes against the terms of service, it's a black market, or not. But some stuff isn't really against terms of service, but isn't supported by CIG, which is grey market purchases, so you can sort of get away with them potentially. It's a danger to do. Just be aware of that. I am half an hour behind in the chat. Right, let's rapid fire this fucking stuff. Is there a gender pay gap in Crusader? No. There is not. Not gender. Let's not even get into this, but there's not really a gender pay gap in real life. It's only between different industries and overall, but not for the same jobs. There's not in the Western world typically. Still interested in No Man's Sky, a little bit. I play No Man's Sky occasionally and go, yeah, it's not really enough for me. It's too shallow. Ever gleaned any info from the devs about whether HDR is going to be pushed in any major way? They are building HDR for Squadron 42 as one of the things they've got written on the roadmap for, was it Q2 2020? I think it's Q2 2020. No, it's Q1 2020. Thoughts, remove Paul Olisar, Agamemnon Protect. If they, it's unlikely they'll remove Paul Olisar, but they might change it. They might update it. They might, remove it and add another one. So it's unlikely they'll just remove it and there's just a void there. Well, I suppose they could. I mean, once we have Crusader and the Horizon landing zone, maybe Paul Olisar is less important, and they'll just have cargo stations everywhere. Paul Olisar will just be one of these cargo stations. Maybe make it less important. When do you think we can expect to see the Kraken in the game, at least in the works for being flight ready? I'd expect to potentially see the Kraken next year, end of next year. Doesn't need any, and you can. Depends, doesn't it? Like, if we've got a load of the server tech ready, and it's in a good enough place, and I think they can get those sort of ships in game. The Drake pipeline's very refined. It's a bit going to be based on their priorities and stuff as well. So I think it's a possibility that we'll see it next year. End of next year, though, if we do. When can we expect to see NPC crew members such as gunners? Probably after Squadron 42 releases. They'll take a little while, and then they'll have to get them in the game for the persistent universe. That's my expectation. Yeah, so the camera controls can be done by holding F4. Don't hold Alt afterwards. Hold F4, page up, page down, plus, minus, and then the arrow keys. No, you made a video on it, but what do you think about the teaser going on? I think it's interesting to hear that audio, but I'm not entirely sure what it's for. Sorry, I just had to respond to someone. What else we got? When do you think the Snub Fighter and the Connie will be usable? So, the docking undocking stuff is based on ship-to-ship docking, which was removed from the roadmap because they don't know where it's going to fall yet. So they're working on it. As soon as that's done, that will, in the same patch, we will have the Connie and the Snub, the P-52, P-72, being able to dock and undock. We just don't know when that's going to fall yet. Can you please talk about semi-persistence? I did say semi. So, potentially from 3.8 onwards, potentially I say, because they've certainly not confirmed this is just a gut feeling. They've basically said that they can decouple some of the persistence so that we could have alpha UBC and alpha UBC purchases persisting between major patches. So that would mean you'd have effectively progression in the game, and you could earn money in 3.8 and that would carry over to 3.9. And occasionally they would reset the servers still, but you'd have a lot more time to be able to build up assets and stuff like that. And I'm expecting that potentially for 3.8 because they've been talking about it a lot recently. How will the removal of armor stones work? Will I be shot in the back of the head if I take too long to choose a ship? No. So the idea is if you commit a crime of a particular type, then the security will deal with you. Or if you're a criminal of a certain level, the security and turrets will deal with you. If you're just taking a long time to choose a ship, that's fine. You'll be able to see all of the laws in an area and typically get some form of warning for some of the stuff that you're going to break a law in a certain amount of time if you don't move your ship, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, before you're getting a sort of like a rating. Some of that might just be fines rather than a criminal rating, stuff like that. So typically, for most people, as long as you're good and don't experience any weird bugs, you should be fine. But if you're, flying around, pads spinning around, knocking people out of the sky, then the turrets are going to shoot you. And turrets are a lot more powerful in 3.7.1. Let me fucking tell you. They've replaced the size 1 turrets with size 4 turrets, I think. And they wreck things a lot better. Or worse, depending on what end you are of the turret. Is it a common problem that one of my ships is not claimable on insurance? Mine not rented. Probably in 3.7. Should be fixed in 3.7.1. I had some problems like that. I want to craft crypto keys. Maybe that'll be a thing. They're expensive as hell, indeed. Will Hovermo return? So they've got the proximity assist system. They've got the ability for your VTOL thrusters to be able to point down as well if you press J. You can toggle that on and off. But I'd expect something almost potentially in the middle of hover mode and the proximity assist. They're going to be lowering the power of thrusters, potentially in 3.8, but at some point, and tweaking the ships and atmosphere a bit more so that we have an interesting, hopefully good solution for everything. We'll have to wait and see. Strategy for bunker missions with the new aggressive AI. Get shot. No, shoot them. Shoot them before they shoot you. Is there a trick to bring people with you is the idea, I suppose, now. They're going to increase the amount of money you get for a lot of missions, especially more difficult ones. They can have a lot more scalable missions that are made for groups, or at least imply that you should have a group with you and stuff like that. So, bring people. Is there a trick to making a box from the backpack and actually getting it to come with you on your ship? I've just been placing them immediately on my cargo grid in my ship. Just deploying them there. And that seems to work a lot of the time. Board crafting. I hope crafting is for things like scopes, improvements, trigger kits, power plant, capacitors, stuff like that. Not items, but things that make items better. Oh, potentially. I see what you mean. I just think we need crafting that allows us to be self-sustaining in the Wild West areas of space. First, your Buddhism clarification was neat. Thanks. Main question is, with the A90 Jump pirate mission showing up in game, will we have people in game, probably devs at first, creating missions? I would expect the mission system to handle it. It's possible that they could have devs creating missions in the short term. The balance between simulation and fun is important. Star Citizen is heavily focused on simulation. Is it? It's got some simulation elements and some gameplay elements, and they sort of like thrown at each other. What do you see as a good balance, and can you give an example? Not really. It depends on each individual thing, but fun and gameplay is going to trump simulation and realism. What's your top 3 agenda items for CitizenCon? I don't know what you mean. But for CIG, things I want to see: Squadron 42 release date, new system, Carrick. Is there still plans for making the Caterpillar able to hold a cutlass and modifying the cargo bays for other modules? There's still the plans to have modular bays in the Caterpillar, yes. Beyond that, we don't know. What do you think is holding up the wallet-to-wallet player transactions? I think it's going to be part of the accounting app that they're building. They've got an accounting app that is coming out in 3.9? 3.9. There's lots of stuff to do with cargo, commodities, and an accounting app for the Mobiglus and economy gameplay stuff for 3.9, so Q1 2020. Do you think the mission pay needs to go up or down or stay the same? I think it needs to have more difficulty, more range of missions, and some missions pay out significantly more. You want some of these missions to pay out huge amounts. I also want to be awarded bounties for just taking out enemy ships that are criminal. So that could be NPCs, that could be players. That would encourage me to go around and search and explore stuff. Is there a reason that servers have been capped at 50 players? Just because they don't really have the tech to have beyond 50 players in at the moment without more problems. They're working on server-side object container streaming and server meshing, which obviously massively alleviates that problem. Yeah, the Tavaran a bird samurai. Do you think we're going to have a really huge mining station in the Odin system when it will be in the PU, like in Squadron 42? Yes, probably, unless that mining facility has been destroyed. But I would expect to see those giant mining facilities around the game. How many SCU do you think the Carrack will really have? 1,000 units pre-SCU? I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see until it's in our hands, because they haven't really said. Is Jeremy Clarkson aware of the Star Citizen doppelganger? I don't know. I don't think so. He'd probably be flattered. Are you going to host live streams in the future, like when we were liberating turtles, doing something else? Yes, so I'm planning to do that a lot, but I haven't really got around to it. So apologies for that. There's lots of random life problems and things that happen, so I do these sort of streams, which can more easily be done without, upsetting or just leaving people. So yeah, plans for lots more gameplay stuff. We'll do some stuff in the next couple of weeks. I suppose I'll organise something for 3.7.1 live in the next couple of weeks. And then we'll start doing more and more things. And then I'll be filming some of them and streaming some of them and just playing others. With the new system, can we expect quantum travel changes? They are updating lots of quantum travel stuff and HUDs and markers in the star map. Can you ask for a medium? Mining ships? I suspect we'll see medium ships for a lot of the roles in game, like small, medium, large for most types of shipping gameplay, and capital for some. Have they ever mentioned, and vehicles for some, have they ever mentioned when they intend to make the side doors and ramps actually be fully functional? I mean, I suppose that's an iterative process. I would like to see sort of like spongy, springy ramps and elevators that when they touch the ground, they sort of stop. Like the suspensions and the landing gear. Have it as part of the landing gear almost. There's certainly problems with that. Hey Board, haven't followed for 4 to 5 months. What is currently the most interesting checking thing out in Star Citizen? So 3.7 has caves and mining, so FPS mining. You can grab a multi-tool and a mining attachment and go around caves. And there's find missing persons in cave missions. And then you can pick up harvestables and mine things in caves with that. You can rent ships. Obviously, there's places like Lawville and Hurston and ArcCorp. I mean, check out ArcCorp if you haven't checked out ArcCorp before, because it is a giant city planet. Some cool missions. There's mission sharing. I've been following the development fairly loosely, but have all the wanted features been kind of locked in? And have they a solid roadmap to release now, or is it just them adding to the roadmap? So, that is a fucking good question, Sam. Squadron 42 has a roadmap to release. Star Citizen has a roadmap for about a year in the future. They have not given us a full feature list of Star Citizen as they see it. I want one. We need one, in my opinion. So I'm hoping to press devs on that issue at some point. Maybe at CitizenCon. I can see them live and see their reactions in their face. Star Citizens, obviously, they've talked about a lot of stuff, but we need a more defined system, a more defined roadmap for this is all the features we've got planned. Cool, great, that's fucking great to see. This is the sort of place we see them priority-wise. Cool, doesn't need to be particularly accurate. And this is the roadmap for the next 2 to 4 quarters. This is significantly more accurate, especially these next 2 quarters. I don't know of any way to contact you. Contact at BoredGamer.co.uk, get through straight to me, or on my Discord. You can message me there. Star Citizen is a bit like Instagram. What looks amazing is actually a bit hollow. Oh. I quite like Star Citizen. It depends who you play with. I think the people you play with may be hollow. Honey. I keep coming back to Star Citizen, but I can't find a ship I like. I have $135 worth that is spendable. I like fighters. The arrow. I like the arrow. I like the saber. They have nerfed the arrow a little bit, but they're still cool. Is this your address? No, that's not my address. I don't actually have an address. I've got a javelin. It's bigger. Can CIG fix the issue with not being able to separate torpedoes from missiles? At a minimum, someone needs to let them know what kind of missiles or torpedoes are selected to fire. It's a crucial need. Yes, we need the ability to more easily and readily select through them. I suspect that will be there in the not-too-distant future. We 100% need that for Squadron 42. In the short term, is what I'm saying. Obviously, you need it longer than that. Now, what's going on with your in-game voice leaks? Just what was in the video, really. But we will continue to cover it. Pyro, the floor is lava. Well, actually, the star is a flare star, so it is dangerous in that system. When will we get the Orion? It's a massive mining ship. I don't know. If it's needed for Squadron 42, potentially next year. If it's not, then probably a couple of years. It's big. That ship is big. Do you know what we can expect from the fuel gas mining feature? They did move it off the schedule. Yeah, but they've talked about it. They wanted an FPS mining sort of like a step towards that as well. So it's gas mining is going to be the front of the Staff era. You can go through certain gas clouds and null up hydrogen gas or other gases, and then sell that effectively, filter it, sell it. So some of this might be a similar way to mining again. They've talked about quantum matter, harvesting quantum matter, and then refining it potentially in the Staff era. But it's probably going to be very basic to start with. I haven't got plans to stream on Mixer unless people are desperate for me to stream on Mixer. Why don't they focus on making the game stable and playable instead of a lot of glitches? Lol, lol, lol. Hopefully that's what the staggered development will actually bring. Handful releases a new capital ship or Corvette class ship this year. What functions do you see it filling in the verse? So there's certainly a need for potentially direct military capital ships. You could have civilian stuff as well. I mean, you could have drone corvette would be cool. You could have big battle cruisers. It could have a lot of different things. And I don't know what direction they all want to go in. I do think that there's a high potential that we will see an Anvil capital ship released at CitizenCon or during the Anniversary Expo, but more likely CitizenCon. I suppose it's at the same time. How long till CitizenCon, anyone? It's the 23rd of November, CitizenCon. Why not just drop Polisar and keep it as rec station point of interest like Kovalex for mission? I mean, that's not a bad idea. I think they want to replace a load of the legacy items and the way they did stuff in game, just to improve efficiency. Like using their modular system, using lots of unified assets will be significantly less resource heavy. Do you think they'll ever integrate command and control panels for Fleet Commander to have better picture of the battlefield in space and on ground? They want hologlobes and they want ways of people being able to relay and send information between areas and have command and control type ships. So I would expect something allow for that. What's the current status of tractor beams? This is interesting. So they've sort of like been working on tractor beams, I believe, in the background. I always talk to a dev about tractor beams anytime I go to like an event that devs are at, and they're quite cagey about talking to me about it. So I suspect they're working on them to some extent. They did talk about a tractor beam type cargo like attachment for the multi-tool. So they want one for cutting, they want one for mining, and they want one for helping carry crates, some of which would not be carryable normally with a tractory type beam. So we know that obviously some ships like the Cutlass Black and the Caterpillar and stuff like that, and some ships are very focused towards using tractor beams. They're going to be very useful for cargo. They're going to be very useful for things like that. So it's something we're expecting to see. We just don't know when. They're not on the roadmap. I think it's quite a core feature of the game, especially for cargo stuff. There's a load more cargo stuff coming in 3.9, so we could see it next year. Not a great confirmation. Could see it next year. It's something I will say a lot with a lot of these questions. How will they balance small fighters without VTOL thrusters so that they can hover well enough to land, but not well enough to be floating turrets? So they need to have them using lots of fuel. They need to have them overheating. They need to have the thrusters less powerful. They need to maybe wobble a little bit. They can do it. They can do it, I think. EMP and distortion weapons need a big balance pass once they have physicalized components in game. When is the PU going to be playable? I mean, 3.7 is very playable. 3.7.1 is significantly more playable. There's a load of problems that are fixed in it. 3.8 with staggered development, they have said basically that it's going to be extremely playable. That's the best amount of playability we've ever had is what they're setting us up for. So I hope that's true. Do you believe Cloud Imperium can make quantum travel more involved? Example, being able to move around like in Elite Dangerous or something like that. I mean, they could. I'm not sure if we'd see that. I'm thinking that more we'll be able to walk around our ship, do stuff on our mobiGlas, respond to missions, distress signals, scan, do stuff with points of interest and other anomalies and stuff we see on the way. You store a mission box into a backpack? Not at the moment, no. Will you try and get in touch with Chris Roberts at CitizenCon to do an interview? Yes, I will. I will try. In fact, I should probably poke Tyler or Cameron or someone setting that up. See if there's any way of, doing that. Are you excited for the Banu Matchman? Yeah, beautiful ship. I'm excited for its gameplay. I wasn't that excited for the way it's going to look, really, until I saw the Defender and went, oh, the Defender looks quite a lot prettier than I expected as well. Doesn't even need to be an exclusive interview with Chris Roberts. I'm fine with having other people there as well, chatting to him. We'll ask him some questions if possible. I mean, there are some people like Tony Zarovic I'd like to chat to as well. Tractor and anti-grav beam. Well, there's going to be tractor beams and they're going to be used for push and pull. Any rumours about the Caterpillar's modules? Not yet. But I am expecting next year to be the year of modularity for ships. How can I join an org? Only at the RSI website? So that's the way you would join the org. Yes, you join them through the RSI website. But you can find them on a few mediums. I've got loads of videos on different orgs. I do an org spotlight. You can just talk to people to find orgs in like the Spectrum or on the Reddit. There's specific sections for that typically there though. So bear that in mind. Currently, when you destroy a ship, it blows up. Do you think it's more sense for these ships to go into disabled mode first, allowing boarding and salvage play? Yes, 100%. And that's why that is going to happen. At the moment, there is no physicalized components, and ships have a health pool. Ships are not going to have a health pool in the future. Individual components are going to have health pools, though. And there's going to be a physical damage system, so your projectiles and stuff, after damaging and destroying the shields or whatever, they'll pierce through, and they'll pierce through components, damaging them, disabling them. So ships will be disabled, more likely than destroyed. Although sometimes there's going to be, like, you critically destroy a power plant and it will explode, or potentially could explode. Just damaging the ship more or whatever. But yeah, that is coming in the future. No more health pools, lots longer time to kill with larger ships. But if you're focusing on components, you're going to be disabling individual components. And capital ships, big war of attrition, I suppose, for that. In my opinion, Chris Roberts should get in touch with Bored for all the great work and time he's investing. Bam! That's what I fucking like to hear. Give me some of that sweet, sweet backer money, Chris. Does the Floodlights blinding strategy actually work in-game at the moment when defending a Reclaimer? I suppose it sort of does. You've also got the blinding flashlight as well. You can put on weapons and press U, and then have to give them an epilepsy warning before you can engage them in combat. Make them sign a consent form. Do you think the Mercury will come before the Hercules? So that's an interesting question. So I was expecting the Mercury Star Runner to come before the Hercules Starlifter originally. Basically, that's what CIG had planned, as far as I was aware. But the Star Runner is not on the roadmap, but the Starlifter is. So the Hercules is on the roadmap currently for 4.0, so Q2 2020. So it's possible that we could have the Mercury Star Runner before that, or at the same time as that, or later. We just don't know which. If it is coming before that, it's because they're working on it and they don't know where it will fall, or because it's a secret for some reason. Maybe we'll see it at CitizenCon, sort of thing. Or they've just gone, right, we're rescheduling the Hercules Starlifter because we need it, or because it's more sensible to do it fast. How delayed is this stream? Well, sometimes it's up to half an hour delayed, and sometimes it's instant. So, the stream isn't delayed, but my answering of the questions in the way that I've got them is. I'm almost current. I ploughed through those. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to bio real quick, and then if people got more questions, we can have a chat. Might have a chat about the audio again, and then I'll go for din-dins in a bit, whatever. But what is this music? Pedro, this is weird music. No, we're going back. We're going back to this one. I like that one. Hey. Edgy took me, yes. Thugs turned up at my door and said, stop saying all the secrets. Is this muted? No, you are muted. How about that? What have we got? Where's the fucking... There we go. Right. Will we get the Tonkin 4.0? I don't know. It's not listed on the roadmap at the moment. I would start to expect to see ground vehicles soon. Oh, it's a good point. If the Hercules Starlifter's there, then would we get the tank that's supposed to fit in it? Good question. I suppose it's a reasonable possibility. Can a Nox scan for hand harvestables or rocks? Couldn't find anything on net. Love you. So currently, hand harvestables have to be detected either by your eyes or the prospector can find large asteroids, which nodes will appear on smaller nodes for hand mining them as well. You can also detect with a prospector, and I think the Terrapin as well, oddly, minables on the ground in clusters, hand minables on the ground. In the future, there should be ways of scanning for harvestables and different types of scanners for that. Both FPS, I believe, and on ship. Do you think we'll be able to rebuild ourselves a ship with salvage components? So in the far distant future, I do expect that we will have quite an in-depth crafting system for Star Citizen and manufacturing and doing stuff like that, probably. I'm just not sure when. So I would expect a smaller level of crafting and mission-based stuff and refining and that sort of thing, rather than full-on super crafting or large-scale crafting to start with. What else have we got? What are you asking my chair? Why were you asking my chair? What are you talking to the chair when I'm not here? Come on. Are we still planning to make a bridge module on the Caterpillar disconnect from the battery of the Cat modules? What? I believe that the idea is still to have the command pod effectively be able to detach from the main body of the Caterpillar, yes. If you search for Squadron 42 Vertical Slice, you'll be able to see this with commentary from Chris Roberts, or the sort of like playthrough version. So, from the player's point of view, or from the developer's point of view. Do you think that Medic will come for 3.8? We will have that Cutlass Red, and we saw that Medic Heavy. Do you think the Apollo could be a surprise for CitizenCon? Probably not the Apollo. It's possible. So, if people haven't seen this yet. So there was in the newsletter, there was a heavy medic concept. Looks pretty cool, right? Biohazard written on it. Well, it's sort of like heavy support is actually what it was called. But I like this. Got lots of utility slots. Looks like it's got like a... We've run through a very, very hazardous area. Utilitarian support version 1 heavy. It's cool. Get like a field medic, maybe. Is Miles Eckhart still in game? Yes, he's in game currently. 3.8 isn't out yet. 3.7.1 is currently being tested on the PTU. I was talking earlier about what may or may not be in 3.8. What will happen to store credit if I don't spend it when the game releases? I think you're still able to spend store credit on some things, but there might be a lot of stuff that's no longer available to buy with store credit. I believe it will still stay there, probably, almost certainly, and you'll probably be able to buy UEC with it, merch with it, stuff like that. When the character releases, when characters are released, we'll be able to name them. You'll be able to name them at some point. I don't know when that's going to be though. They want to have continue that customization system that you saw with the 300 series. They want more and more ships with that. and they want to be able to name ships. That's something that all ships will be able to be named, and ships per hull will be able to have a unique name. So there can't be two enterprises within the Carrack range, but you could have an enterprise that's a 300i and an enterprise that's a Carrack. Do you see what I mean? With all the mentions of server-side object container streaming in emails, and now Star Citizen Live, do you think we'll see server-side object container streaming make it in soon? I think it's a possibility we'll see it for 3.8, yes. I think it's quite a high possibility, in fact. Do you have any information if the Aurora Mantis upgrade is giftable if purchased with new money? I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. What tech is missing that will allow me to hand a container full of stuff to another player and transfer ownership to them? I'm not sure if... Well. I mean, you can technically drop things on the floor so other people can pick them up. It just... That stuff does not persist on accounts. I think it's full persistence. I think as soon as you have full persistence, then items can move across to other accounts. They're working on it at the moment. I think we're getting some of it. Some persistence with 3.8. And I'd hope to see full persistence done next year before server meshing, and then server meshing next year as well. Day 1 of live, you finally made your character logged in. What's your first priority? Seeing where I start, seeing the star map, working out where all my ships are, working out where's safe and not safe, and then learning how to move. And then probably, after doing a couple of missions, trying to work out where I'd want to build a base for the Pioneer. There's no updates to the Crytek lawsuit I'm aware of at the moment. I suspect they're currently doing a mixture of discovery and leveraging for a settlement. But I do think that if discovery gets much further, then CIG are likely to fight it all the way, which would not be great for Crytek. Because Crytek have a very weak chance of winning now. Very, very low. And even if they do, it's only going to be for their legal fees and a token, what I would expect, amount of money, but I'll have to wait and see. I'm a long-time EVE player, so I'm curious how the vulnerability states will work on player-owned structures, such as outposts or bases. We don't know. That's why. It's suspected that they'll be takeoverable or attackable by other players. We know that a Pioneer should be able to nom them up, literally. But we don't know to what extent outposts and bases are going to be destructible, destroyable, ownable, movable. Well, we know that they can be dropped in by a Pioneer and picked up and moved by a Pioneer. What about that strange message at Paul also? Well, let me bring it up on the screen for you again. People that are interested.
Welcome to some more Star
No,
Citizen.
no, bad. It's me.
On the PTU.
No.
It's given us a huge... to them.
So this is just at the Orlosa ASOP terminals. You can hear the sound green hex in some places. People stand in the great injustice. Weird alien sounds. Darkness to spare. So there's some interesting things happening in 3.7.1's PTU. We'll be covering that more if it becomes an ARG or more and more stuff gets revealed. I'm looking forward to that. You can hear it in Grimhex, you can hear it in Polisar, you can hear it in the Central Business District, and Lorville, probably some other places as well. I use OBS. Do you think the Mantis sale went well? I have not analysed it yet. I will have a look at it later. Love your content. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Will they make spacesuits and weapons without colourful lights? Could you ask CIG for a toggle to turn off and on lights and make it stealthier? Oh, I see, like the little mini lights, not just the torch light that you can turn on and off. Yeah, I suspect there will be stealthy modes and power modes and things that you may be able to tweak on and off with your suits. Yeah, I'd like it to be able to, you know, turn off everything that's generating a light if I'm stealthing around in space. When do you see bounty hunter ships playing a role and how? So the actual physical ships, you're going to be able to stun and capture players and NPCs and complete missions by taking them elsewhere. However, I suspect that once a player's captured, that they'll have the option of just respawning immediately, but you'll still be able to take their bounty in. See what I mean? They'll spawn immediately in a prison or something. That's what I'd expect. I'll have to wait and see exactly how that works. If I upgrade my special offer, upgraded Mantis, will my new ship have lifetime insurance? Yes, it will. As long as, yeah, it should. It's upgraded the actual package, and you keep everything that's in the original package, other than the hull you changed. So the Aurora to Mantis upgrade is a very special upgrade, unique in the fact that it upgrades your ship to have lifetime insurance, but it should then keep it with any other hull you upgrade to. Can you go over status effects and exactly how they will be implemented? Will there be combat buffs or for yourself and debuffs to enemies? So there's the player status system, which is coming in. When is the player status system? 3.9 Q1 2020. They've been working on for a while. So this tracks lots of different things. This tracks heat, oxygen levels, stamina, health, hunger, thirst, environmental effects, all this sort of stuff that affect your character, and then reduces your health, stamina, your ability to move, things like that. And there would be environmental effects like there could be corrosive atmosphere, there could be electricaliness atmosphere, and this all affects your equipment, your gear, your health, your stamina, all in different ways based on what equipment you're using, where exactly you are, all that sort of jazz. How much you've eaten, are you thirsty, are you inebriated? Lots and lots of stuff like that, and the player status system will track that, and then you'll have effects based on that. So yes, enemies can become debuffed effectively if they have not eaten or drank water for a long time, if they are weak. Same as player. Do you feel the Cutlass Red will make it in 3.8, and what direction do you think medical gameplay should take? I think it will make it in 3.8, yes. I'm not sure if it's going to have much, any medical gameplay. I think with medical gameplay, I want to be able to stabilize people on the floor, apply meds to them, take them to areas to have them healed. I'm not sure what sort of minigame I'd like for that. Nothing too complex, I suppose, because I want to actually be healed when I'm in good facilities rather than, oh dear, I fucked up, you lost a leg. There's going to be a mixture of field medic stuff and sort of like safer environment medical stuff. You know, there's 3 tiers of medical bay for near-death wounds, multiple injuries, and minor injuries. Or multiple major injuries, I suppose. Right now, the state of the game is a PTU playtest universe. No, the PT is a PTU. Knowing this, do you think that efforts like the new Easter egg audio that you posted are about our wasted efforts? Yeah. Something that CIG are trying. They're sort of like trying stuff like that out. That's cool. We don't know what it is, really, yet. It might be an AIG, it might be something cool. A lot of people really play the game a lot now, are really interested in the project as it evolves, and even in terms of minutiae detail. A lot of people play it for hundreds of hours each week. Maybe not each week, you know. So I think their attempts to make the game more playable for like a release product, some of them are misguided, some of them are a bit irrelevant, some of them might be good ideas. It is a double-edged sword, having a alpha product, but also advertising it and having some elements of it that are trying to be as playable as possible and act like a real game. So I'm not sure if we're there yet. Whatever happened to the concept of your character getting up to look in the bathroom mirror? You should be able to do that. There's going to be mirrors in game. They've got the rental tech to make really good mirrors. Just not yet. That would probably be incredibly resource intensive at the moment. Will ships always spawn out of mid-air when you spawn them? No. I suspect they'll have clever ways of spawning ships, bringing them in, and stuff like that. The ships will be physicalized at some point as well in their locations. Well, they'll be at physical locations, and you won't be able to spawn them in the same way. But like public hangars and stuff like that, I would expect them to like raise them out of the floor, spawn them in, then raise them out. And space stations, they'll have people landing there, having their ships stay there, I would assume. It depends on what type of station it is. If you log out and leave your ship there, they might impound it or something, I suppose. I've previously used voice attack, haven't used it for a little while. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of big surprises at CitizenCon this year. I think it's going to be a big year for CitizenCon. I think the time to destroy ships is too fast. Yes, especially larger ships, they need to be significantly slower, and they will when they have physicalized components. But yes, we need times to disable, ships to be able to repair themselves during fight, reroute power, things like that, so they can fight for a long time while they're waiting for escorts or rescue parties, or while a larger fight's going on around them or whatever. Could the spooky voices be related to Halloween from CIG? It is possible that it is a Halloween thing, yes. You know why the new Vanguards are the only ship able to quantum travel from 13 kilometers of altitude without leaving Lorville? No. No, definitely. What current proposed game mechanics system are you most concerned about? The core flight model and general weapon meta? Probably. I mean, that's the thing I'm literally most concerned about at the moment. I would have hoped they'd have a full-on combat system that was really, really stable, and flight model that was really, really stable, and they were happy with, rather than still fucking around with it at this stage. I'm so sorry, I forgot the music was so loud. I'm literally the worst. I do apologise. Yeah, Tessa Bannister is going to be in the game again. They've got plans to put her back in. Thank you very much. Great 178. Thank you so much for the monies. Thank you very much, J-Bud Max, for becoming a YouTube member. Give me more monies. Did I thank Roger Dodger for toasting me? I hope I did. Maybe I didn't. I love you. Thank you. Yes, Tessa Bannister is coming back to the game at some point. They've already said that they want Tessa back in. Probably when we have more scanning mechanics though, because she's focused on more scanning-y type missions. You have insider knowledge that we don't. I mean, everyone does about everything. I've been to studio tours. I have some people that send me insider knowledge of variable levels of quality. So probably. Are you planning to run your own org, join someone else's, or avoid them altogether? I will be part of multiple orgs and probably run my own as well. Nomad Black is supposed to like be more Roman forum run, but I'll probably run it in its day-to-day operations, but have all its policies and stuff done by the people that play it. Do you think that with the implementation of a new system, they will test a server handover so that every system is on its own server? Yes. I mean, they'll... So, static server meshing allows each individual system to have both be on its own server and then have each individual area in that system be on its own server. So each individual planet can also be on its own server. They're nested servers, effectively. But yeah, they'll also do that with each of the systems. What system is this you're showing in the Squadron 42 demo? This is the Odin system. This is Gaini 1A, the moon that was by Odin 1. But Odin 1 is now the coil because it's exploded. Will we get the API of Star Citizen for stuff like voice stack? I'm not sure to what extent we're going to have access to modding and APIs and stuff for Star Citizen. They have said that that's something they will be giving to us in the future, but we just don't know when. Vangear bucks in the inventory when? Don't know. I was expecting them for 3.7, but they obviously haven't turned up yet. You're literally the best. Thank you very much, JBird Max. I love your fucking face. I hope you're doing well. You're right, Mantis, mate. Love your face as well. Jeff, on larger ships, we'll have a spare parts storage area so we can have spare components ready to swap out. Yes. I'm assuming that you've bought those spare parts, so we have them aboard. There's going to be subcomponent changing for some items to get them back to work, as I am understanding. Some will be done with the multi-tool. Some will be done with ship-to-ship sort of repairs. Others will have literally you slotting out entire components and putting them back in. I talked a bit about Squadron 42 at CitizenCon. What type of org would you not join as an affiliate? Probably piracy-orientated orgs, typically. I might have a piracy character or character that's an outlaw. I'm pretty chill with orgs. I mean, I take it. Each individual org, I'd probably work out whether or not it's sensible for my character and for me to join individually, you know. How playable is 3.7.1 in your opinion? 3.7, pretty playable, but some major issues. Some genuinely hugely major issues, especially with like parts, ships parts not spawning properly, things like that. 3.7.1 is significantly more playable, and probably the most playable patch for Star Citizen we've ever had by a magnitude. So hopefully 3.7.1 will go live soon, with a huge range of fixtures for 3.7's branch. Any 2 to 4 player ships not in game yet that you're excited to see later? Carrack, was it 4 to 6? That's in that range, right? Titan suits for CitizenCon? I hope so. I'm not holding my breath on it, but I hope so. Titan suits are very exciting for me. Have you seen Cobra TV's recent Discovery of Star Citizen videos? What do you think? I've seen that Cobra TV was doing stuff, but I don't know if I've watched any of his videos. I might have. I'll check them out after this. While I'm eating, maybe. If the UE is modelled after the fall of Rome Empire, are we going to see the Empire split between Rome, Earth, and Constantinople, Terra in Squadron 42 or Star Citizen PTU? Maybe they'll be part of the Squadron 42 campaign, or maybe it'll be something story events that will happen in the persistent universe at some point. I mean, they need giant story arcs and interesting incursions and things like that. Are you allowed to bring and use a video camera to CitizenCon? Yes, you are. Could you make for some fantastic content? Yes, I've got a GoPro and a gimbal. It's literally down there. By my feet. I bought specifically for that. Hopefully I'll be able to stream while I'm there. But more likely I'll do that if they've got a rig that I can use briefly, even if it's just to say hi and chat about stuff. I suppose some of the booths there that might have them. I'll try and stream on my mobile while I'm there. But I'll be recording as well and see what interviews and stuff we can get. Cobra TV's videos are long, but his discovery of stuff is magical. Okay, I'll check it out. Currently, Carrack is being scheduled for 3.8. However, tasks associated with it have not moved over in the last few weeks. Did the 890 Jumps release have the same lack of completed tasks? I mean, it didn't look like it was going to release in 3.7 and then was. So, maybe. Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean when it was released. So, we haven't had much of an update on the roadmap. We should have. Like, they haven't rescheduled any of the stuff for 3.8 properly yet. they haven't moved stuff up on the schedule. Because they're getting ready for CitizenCon, almost certainly. I just wish they'd be more active in either saying why stuff hasn't moved or that has moved. And I think in the roadmap roundup, what we had last week was no noticeable changes, which isn't great. Which is fine if that's what's happened, if it's just been plodding along, which it had. But I would like to see a bit more. What light fighter would you upgrade from a starter? I'd upgrade to the Arrow. I love the Arrow. I think the Arrow's a great ship. I know they've nerfed it a little bit, but still hard to hit it. Still got good damage. Right. I am going to dash off for Din-Dins now. Are there any other questions that people want me to answer quick as best I can? No Nation, I'm not a developer. I am a enthusiastic Star Citizen amateur, but I got my channel covers the game to quite a high degree, and I compile all the news and that sort of stuff. Typically with Star Citizen, there's a lot of misconceptions about bits and bobs for what exactly the game is and individual components and stuff that's coming on the roadmap, and it's hard to keep up and track of all of it. So we talk about the game and that sort of stuff. What feature on the upcoming patch are you the most excited for? If any upcoming patch, I mean, I've got lots of salvage ships. I want salvage. Really, I'm looking for interesting missions to be able to do consistently. So, probably, it's going to be dynamic mission system stuff. We need stuff to be able to do in the verse regularly, right? Right. What am I having for Din-Dins? I have no fucking idea. I'm on a diet, but I'm eating lots. I am going to go off and eat, though. We will host someone else that will probably be able to, you know, play the game in front of you and chat. I'm sure. Let's find someone interesting, if we can. I'm sure. Let's find someone interesting. Baron's online. Give some Baron some love. That works. Oh, we'll go to Maya. Maya's just got back from EGX. I love Maya. Fucking Salty Mike's online as well. Who do you want? Do you want Baron? Do you want Twerk / Salty Mike? Or do you want Maya? Whoever gets mentioned first gets a host. Thanks for hanging out with us today, but well, I mean, thanks for hanging out with me. It's just me just chatting and sort of like updating people on, you know, life, my Star Citizen content, Star Citizen, what we're expecting to think, and about Star Citizen-y stuff. Oh man, there's everything got mentioned. Baron was 3 seconds first. I did say that was what's going on, so we're going to give Baron a host. Right. Oh. No. Yes. No. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Thanks for all the love. Very much appreciated. Thanks for joining me today. You take care. And I will see you in the not-too-fucking-distant future. We'll try and get some video up on 3.8 and expectations for its content. Either later today or tomorrow. And then hopefully some more updates from CIG will come in and we can work out what's going on with 3.7.1. Hopefully that will go live soon. It's got a load of fixes in. It's very, very playable for the 3.7 branch. Anyway, love your face. You take care, guys. If you find someone like Baron boring, you can go to one of the other people. I'm a man of my word. Right, love you guys. You take care. Bam. Love.